Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm the Executive Director of Green Learning, and welcome. Today, we are excited to do a live demonstration of our solar oven construction module, which is part of our reenergy.ca program. And it's, a live video, so we anticipate lots of things might happen, but we're going to do our best to work through the next 30 minutes and hopefully give you guys some interesting ideas about how to cook using solar energy, and we'd love to hear from you. So in the Facebook comment section, please do type questions or give us your feedback or ideas. We have an entire team here, and I'm going to introduce you to everybody, but we have a team on the comment section too. So I'm the Executive Director of Green Learning. I've got some of my colleagues here. I'm going to go just around this way. Jamila and Marcus, and we have Christina in the comment section. And Jamila and Marcus and I are here today in our office in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. And Christina is in her office in tiny Ontario, which is in northern Ontario. We have some team in Alberta because Green Learning was founded in Alberta. And so everyone is here today to help us with this webinar. So a little bit about Green Learning before we start. Green Learning has been around since 1984, actually, a little while. But we became a registered charity in 2010. And our programs engage youth in really hands-on practical educational experiences about environmental education and sustainability. They're mostly focused on energy education, climate change education, and also moving all of us towards a clean, green economy. So a little bit of economics in there too. All of our materials have elements of STEM education, so that's science, technology, engineering, and math. We love all of the science and engineering that goes into our programs, and everything is free, and it's all open source, so you can find it on our website. There aren't any paywalls. You can download it. We just really encourage you to give us your feedback and tell us what you think of all the materials there. One of our programs, one of our oldest programs, is called Reenergy, and it looks at renewable energy technologies and why those are important to help us combat climate change. And so Reenergy is actually an award-winning program. We won an award from Underwriters Laboratory, or UL, which is a safety company and an international safety company. We won their Innovative Education Award in 2017, and very, very proud to be part of that team. And also we have a funding award from NSERC this year, which is the National Science and Engineering Research Council of the federal government of Canada. And NSERC has given us some funding also for this webinar, which is in honor of Science Literacy Week, which is this week. So we are hoping through this webinar to help promote science literacy to Canadians. So for today, we are going to spend 30 minutes, just a little bit under now, and we are going to go through the construction of a solar oven. We're going to go through how to cook in one. Hopefully the weather will cooperate because it's a bit of a cloudy day here in Kitchener. And we're going to add lots of fun stuff, links and resources in the comment section, so watch for those. If you want to ask questions, please do so in the comments, and I'll try to take some of those live. We're going to have a special guest, and we're going to tell you about events that we've got coming up. So stay tuned for that. And you can win a prize by watching the webinar today, so we'll tell you all about that later. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Marcus and Jamila, and they're going to get started telling us about what they're going to be doing over the next 30 minutes. So I'm just going to turn the video around, and I'm going to hand it over to Marcus first. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's got going on here.
Good afternoon, Mary. We're here today to help, Jamila and I are here today to help you understand how to build a solar oven and how to cook in a solar oven. Yay. So in the next 25 minutes or so, we're going to walk through the construction, and we built a few over the last number of years, and we expect that we've made a few mistakes along the way. We hope to pass on those learnings to you and make it as easy and smooth as possible. Jamila, if you want to.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Jamila. I'm the Communications Manager for Green Learning. And in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be showing you different types of recipes that you can cook in your solar oven. So be it in the comfort of your home, or maybe you're out in the outdoors enjoying the weather and you're camping, there are some foods that you can cook that are delicious and that make great meals. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Okay, so we're going to start off with Marcus, and he's going to get started with the construction because we actually do have a special guest joining us, and he's going to talk a little bit about engineering and science. And so I'm going to hand it over to Marcus again to get us started with building a solar oven.
Great. So in the next couple of minutes, let's just run through what it takes to build a solar oven.
Okay.
We need a certain amount of materials.
Yes.
And we need some tools.
Right.
And
I see those here.
let's not forget, we also need to read the instructions. So when in doubt, read the instructions, and this will help you sort of work through. But
And we know from experience what happens when we don't read the instructions.
yes, we do.
So,
It's not always pretty.
right.
So today I'm going to run through, for the moment, let me just run through a few of the tools. So we need some good old fashioned duct tape. I've also been able to use aluminum tape, which is a little bit more expensive, but a little bit easier to work with. And if you wanted to make something last longer, the aluminum tape would be probably your best deal. You're going to need some glue. Obviously, there's a fair bit of glue needed, and we found one of these school glue products would do about 2 solar ovens.
Okay.
We're going to need a pen. We're going to need a metal ruler, especially if we decide to use a cutting instrument like one of these. My suggestion is if you're dealing with or working with younger children, you could use a good pair of scissors instead of a cutting
So you
instrument
don't
like
need
that.
a box cutter necessarily.
So you don't absolutely need a box cutter, and if you are going to use a box cutter in a school environment, of course, you have to be very careful.
Get some parent volunteers.
Yeah, we're going to use either a putty knife or a paintbrush to spread the glue, because clumping glue is a problem in building these things. We're going to need the large version of the tinfoil product. Again, you could go with a thinner, cheaper product. You don't absolutely need the thicker one, but it's a little bit easier to work with a thicker product, and so it's your choice there. The metal ruler and a tape measure. Metal ruler if you're using the cutting device. The tape measure will do for the rest. But you do need a ruler to draw out the different panel sizes.
Right.
So we're just going to run quickly back to some of the other things we're going to need here. We've got the tinfoil partly cut. We've got the panels. So we're going to need a nice piece of cardboard that we found these shipping boxes work great, but if you go to Walmart or the liquor store, often you'll find larger pieces of cardboard that would be excellent for this. We find there's two panel sizes, a larger panel, like so, and a smaller panel, like so. The smaller panel cuts out very easy a lot of box sizes. Also, for the base, we have a metal tray, and that metal tray sits inside of a box. And the best box we have found for that is the LCBO 6-bottle wine casing.
Right.
So, as part of this, you might have to drink 6 bottles of wine. Yeah.
Right.
This is the newspaper we need. If you can still track down newspaper, very rare product these days, but you use that as insulation at the bottom of the box. So,
can I ask one question?
Sure.
In the construction plan, it talks about using black powdered paint.
So we get to the paint. This has been a little bit tricky for us. We've tried a bunch of different types of paint. In our instructions, we've used a black powder. We found a real problem having adhesion to the tinfoil. So we've come up with another plan that works a little bit easier and is cheaper. Just black cardboard, art paper, I guess it is, put it into the tray. And I'll show you how to do that in the next session.
Great.
So that covers
Awesome.
the construction and basic construction
Okay,
information.
so Marcus is going to get started on putting some things together. You can see he's pre-cut a couple of pieces there because we're trying to fly through this in 30 minutes. If you're doing it with a classroom, which we've done before, it probably will take you about 2 hours, I think, with the help of lots of parent volunteers. So we're going to go over to Jamila, and she's getting the baking table ready. So what have we got here on the baking table? What are we going to try to cook today in this cloudy day?
Okay, so I'm going to review with you some things that you can cook and under what conditions and temperatures. We have some interesting things lined up on our table today. We're going to be making s'mores, and I'm going to teach you how you can make s'mores in your solar oven. So we have graham crackers, we have marshmallows, we have chocolate, which is we're going to melt. It's going to melt in our solar oven and give you that gooey, delicate texture. And this is a pre-made s'mores here that we have sitting on the table, and this is actually what's going to go in our solar oven. So Marcus showed you the pan, the tinfoil pan earlier. You just put your s'mores in the pan and it actually goes into the solar oven. Now this is the recipe for s'mores, as you can see. Very easy, very simple. If you've got kids around, this is an amazing delicacy for them. They're gonna love it. Who doesn't love s'mores?
Yeah,
It's chocolate, it's marshmallows, it's sweet, it's gooey, it's tasty. I love it, and I know that you will love it too. Other things that you can cook in your solar oven include Bannock, which is a First Nations delicacy. Other things that you can cook include meatloaf, but we don't recommend that you do that in your solar oven because obviously it contains meat and it needs to be cooked through right to the middle. But I've seen teachers use this as an opportunity to introduce kids to food safety in the classroom.
That's a good idea.
If you're really craving meat, you can make hot dogs and they cook really well in your solar oven as well.
Okay, yeah, so we've had a lot of, every year we have a solar oven challenge, and kids across the country bake different things in their solar ovens, and then they tell us what they did. And we have had kids try to make meatloaf, eggs. What else have they tried? S'mores is pretty much the most popular. Pizzas, mini pizzas, and cookies. Lots of people have tried cookies. So, yeah, if you go on to reenergy.ca, Christina can post a link there. You can see a showcase of all the things that people have done in the past, and the kinds of recipes they use. And we encourage you to tell us what you've cooked in your solar. So I'm just going to go back over to Marcus because he's doing some fun stuff here. And we have a special guest, as I mentioned. Our special guest's name is Kent, and he's actually a mechanical engineer. So I'm going to introduce everybody to Kent.
Hello.
Hi, Kent. And so Kent's here. He's going to explain a little bit of what's going on with the solar oven from an engineering perspective. And right now, Marcus is putting the tinfoil on the panel. And one of the things he's doing that you can see, he's put the glue on with a paintbrush. And sometimes you can use this, the scraper there, but the important thing is to get the glue really smooth and to get that tinfoil on very flat without as many wrinkles
You can
as you can.
see, Mary, if the cardboard bends in one direction, you don't want it bending that way because it crinkles. You want it bending that way. So you apply the shiny side, which I think I've done, and you make sure that if it's going to bend, it pulls it tight. And I think that gets you less wrinkles in the product.
So Ken, I wanted to ask you, why is it important to make sure that you've got the shiny side up and you've smoothed out all the wrinkles in your tinfoil?
So that's a great question. Very important that you get the wrinkles out so that it's nice and flat and it doesn't have any wrinkles in them, because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to capture the energy of the sun in order to heat the food that we're cooking. And so if you have any wrinkles inside the tinfoil, what ends up happening is you're bouncing that energy outside of the box as opposed to into the food.
Right, and we want the energy inside the box because that's where our food is going to be. So Marcus is continuing to add the tinfoil there and cut it to shape.
Another little hint while we're there is make sure you cut your tape so that it's a little bit easier to work with and you're not dealing with tape and trying to make the tape while you're putting it together.
Right,
And as you can
duct
see,
tape is notoriously sticky and hard to work with. So this panel is shaped, and we haven't, in the construction plan, there's very precise dimensions for the shapes of the panels. There's a big panel and also a smaller panel. Now, this makes your shape very concave. And I also want to ask Kent why it has to be in the end that you've got a shape that's kind of pyramidal. You can see that there, and I'll show you a finished one in a minute. But so Kent, why is it important to have that shape where the pieces are coming in like this.
So again, we're trying to capture as much energy as we can into this oven. And so the more surface area we have that's reflecting the light into the oven, the better, the more energy we get out of the sun. So if you have it a little bit, you know, if you have it too straight, then we're not reflecting as much energy because some of the panels are covering the other ones. And if you have it too flat, then what ends up happening is we're just reflecting light out of the box as opposed to into the
Right,
box.
and that's not good. We'll be blinding everybody instead
Yeah.
of cooking our food. And if you're gonna do this in a classroom, you might want to get the kids to wear sunglasses, which they always think is super fun and cool, while you're actually checking the food in the solar oven. We don't want the kids getting blinded.
For sure.
And so maybe, do you mind coming with me? We're gonna go outside and check on an oven that we've got out there, and I wanted to ask you a few questions just about some of the engineering aspects of that pre-built oven outside. So
Sure, of course.
we're gonna go, I'm gonna turn the camera around again. So Ken and I are gonna go outside. Now we recently just had our oven stolen just before we were about to start the demo, but we got it back. So this is our solar oven outside on a cloudy day here in Kitchener. We've got it tilted diagonally because the sun isn't directly overhead. And we've put paper down in the bottom as well as our thermometer. You can see it's not actually heating up yet. But Kent, I wanted to ask you about why it's important to put the paper in the bottom.
Sure. So the important thing here is we've done all this hard work to get the heat into the box, and what we're doing with the paper is we're actually trying to trap the energy inside the box so that we can keep heating up the food we put inside. So it acts as an insulator.
Okay, so we're gonna go back inside. I lost my I'm losing my connection here because we went outside, but I think we're back. So the question that I had asked to Kent is why we put the newspaper, shredded newspaper, inside the box of the solar oven. And Kent, you were saying, just in case they didn't hear that.
So, you know, we've done all this hard work to trap this energy inside of the box. So what we do with the shredded paper is it's a way to trap the energy inside the box so that it will continually cook the food that we put
Food
inside.
that we put right down in there. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, we're gonna turn it back and go over to Jamila. I think
Hi,
Jamila's got
everybody.
everything ready here.
Yes, this is our s'mores. As you can see, I've just layered it piece by piece. I have the graham crackers. On top of that, I have the chocolate. And then on top of that, I have the marshmallows. Now, the other piece of the graham cracker here is going to go up top. And I'm just going to cover it like so. And it's going to go in our tin foil over here. So you have the one already pre-made here. Just cover it. And by the time all this melts, it's gonna be nice and gooey. Under about 150 degrees hot is a good temperature for this. If you have boiling water, you can actually boil water at 100 degrees temperature Celsius. You can actually boil an egg in that hot water, or if you're out camping, you can use the water to make hot chocolate or tea. If you wanna make mini pizzas, you can do that under 250 degrees Celsius. And there's lots of other things that you can cook in a solar oven. I love the versatility of the recipes and the dishes that you can cook in a solar oven.
Okay, that's awesome. Thanks, Jamila. So Jamila's going to try to get that outside, even though it's really cloudy out there right now and our oven isn't that warm yet. So we're gonna go back over and see how Marcus, he's moving along at breakneck speed here.
We are not only building a solar oven, we're speed building a solar
building.
oven. Yes,
Yeah.
so this could be another element to your activities. You can
So-
build one faster.
Yeah, and Marcus is adding, well, the shredded paper is gonna go in the bottom of our box later, but I did wanna, Jamila was talking about the temperatures these can get to. Yesterday we tried, I'm just gonna turn it around again. So yesterday we tried testing cooking in the solar oven, and it was about 20 degrees yesterday and sunny. And in about 8 minutes, I got the temperature up to, I think, 200 degrees. Today it's cloudy and colder, which totally is not the desirable conditions. So we're gonna see if it gets warm, but we've gotten up to 150 and 15 degree weather. Just depends on how much sun we get. But like Jamila was saying, you can definitely cook things. We've had students get it up to 250, even 300 degrees. One of the other questions I had for you, Kent, is a lot of people ask us, is it safe? Because we're using, to build these, we're using cardboard, which is paper, and shredded paper in the bottom of the oven. So why is it that the whole thing doesn't catch fire?
Oh, so I guess that's an important question, but paper actually has a very high ignition point. So basically the point in which it bursts into flames.
Right.
And that's actually around 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So we won't be hitting those kind of temperatures with this solar oven, so
Right.
there won't be a concern of it catching on fire.
Right, and I guess most of the paper is in the bottom of the box, and the light is going into the energy, the heat energy is going into the tray. But if you do get an oven up to 450 degrees, we'd love to hear about it. And there's lots of other solar oven construction designs online, and we have links to a lot of other designs from our RIA Energy website. So if you go to the solar oven module there and you check on, or you click on just solar construction designs, there's a link to a whole list of those, and you can make a solar oven out of a pizza box, which is a really cool one. You can make parabolic solar ovens. So there's all different types of solar ovens. This is the one that the construction plan we offer is the one that we find works best, but it's really up to you and what your needs are. So I'm going to turn this around again because Marcus is, you can see sometimes it takes more than one person to tape this guy together, especially when you're working with duct tape. And so he's just finishing the assembly there.
As you can see, the two small panels, the two large panels, they fit together quite nicely. If the angles, or if you read the instructions, get the measurements correct, you get the angles correct, the heat is at maximum level. We have the little tray here. Gonna show what that's gonna look. This is gonna fit into the larger tray, which, as I said in the past, would normally be a nice liquor wine box from the LTBO. Fits almost perfectly. The insulation is in the bottom of that. This pops into here, like so.
All right.
And it's not
There it
pretty,
is.
I'll have to say that, but it was
that
quick.
Yeah, it was a quick one. And in the classroom, this is really fun. The kids love all the different crafty elements. There's a lot of science with the painting. As Marcus mentioned, in our plan, we recommend using powder paint, which is sometimes hard to come by, but the paint won't stick. So you could use chalkboard paint, or you could use
Yeah, it was a bit better luck with the chalkboard paint.
chalkboard
but
paint
I
or
think
chalk
that
paint.
That paper product is also very good.
Okay, so I'm just going to check the time. Kent, I know that you have to, you've got lots of other work
Yes.
that we're very important engineering kinds of things. So thank you for coming in. Kent's also going to join us tomorrow at noon Eastern for another round of solar oven building. Marcus will be an expert by then. So thank you so much, Kent, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so now I'm just going to check on our questions and answers and see if anybody has posted any questions. I see Christina's busy adding things into the comments.
Did you want to ask or mention the issue of locating the solar oven oriented to the sun and ensuring that it's not picked up by the in the park?
Okay, so maybe I'll take everyone outside again. So it is important, we recommend doing your solar oven baking when the sun is at the highest point in the sky, so at 12 noon in your time zone. If the sun isn't directly overhead, when you've got your solar oven sitting on the ground, as you can see here, Marcus has got it pretty standing up pretty nicely. But you might want to tilt it so that it's in the direction of where the sun is. I find that if you haven't accurately tilted it towards the sun, your heat won't go up, and just a little bit of tilt makes it go up. The temperature, you'll see it start to go as soon as you tilt it towards the sun. So yesterday, I was outside and it wasn't heating up, and then as soon as I tilted it a little bit, maybe only 25 degrees or 20 degrees tilt the temperature started going up immediately. So that's something that you want to watch for to make sure you're directing all of those rays into the box. Jamila has done another step here.
Yes, what I've done is I've taken a little bag here and I've actually put it over the tinfoil pan tray. And why you want to do this is to protect the food, first of all. And also it insulates the tray so that as your solar oven begins to heat up and the box begins to heat up and you start to see the temperatures go up, it will actually trap the heat.
Okay, that's good to
and make
know.
the cooking better.
Mary, I think that we should remind while we're on the measuring the temperature and the orientation, the thermometer that we use is very important because that allows you to see, as soon as you get it right, you'll see the thermometer starting to go up. So that's
Right.
something that we didn't talk about in our original equipment list, and I think that's quite important to have a thermometer to show and demonstrate in real time what's happening
Right.
with the sun.
I'm gonna go outside one more time. Actually, I'm gonna take you guys outside, and the connection may just disappear a little bit because we're in a brick building. But I'm gonna go outside one more time before we sign off to check on our oven here. It's not tilted very much anymore, but you can see here's our thermometer. So we're using a cooking oven thermometer, and you can actually just punch it into the tin right down here. This is where we normally set it. Unfortunately, as you can see in this beautiful Victoria Park, Kitchener, Ontario, it is not sunny at all. The clouds are foiling our plan for baking today. So Jamila's gonna put the s'mores out there. We have baked s'mores on cloudy, windy days before, but they turned into s'mores salad. So even though the chocolate melted, everything kind of just melted together and we ate s'mores salad, which kids don't really mind if it's in a salad form, as long as it's marshmallows and chocolate and graham crackers all mixed together. Who wouldn't love that? So I think Jamila might want to just try putting those out there, and then we'll have some dessert today for our colleagues in this co-working space. And I think Marcus is ready to...
Just finishing up the final thing, putting the base, taping some of the noise here, using the base, attaching the base to the reflectors. We'll do a bit of a quick job here and just get that outside.
Yeah, awesome. So he's going to take it out. And like Marcus said earlier, if you put it into the solar oven into another box, so a tall box, the more air you can trap in the bottom and the more shredded paper you have, the more heat you're going to be able to trap down there, which is going to help all your food cook. So, so there's a few more things. I think Marcus is we're gonna try to, we don't have enough time in this webinar, but we're going to try to cook those s'mores, and we might want to test another thing that we're gonna try to cook tomorrow, which is pizza. So if you wanna join us again, it's supposed to be sunnier tomorrow. So I'm hoping we can actually cook some pizza tomorrow. We have another guest joining us who's going to bring in some garden fresh ingredients. So I didn't see any questions in the chat forum, so I'll just keep moving along here. I can see that Christina's adding lots of really useful links in there. So the highest temperature that we've personally got the solar ovens up to is about 250 degrees. If it's hot and sunny, it really does work well, but we've had students in the far north do the solar oven challenge, and just, even though it's cold, it was a sunny day and they still got the temperature up there. You could try to boil water, cook rice, those kinds of things with your students. And then you guys all get to taste test it, which is the funnest part, I think, for a lot of kids. They could get put into teams and name their solar oven. They can decorate it, which is all things that kids love to do, and use, cool names for it that relate to energy or solar power. I'm just going to see if there's anything else that we missed that Marcus and Jamila want to add before we
No, I think we covered it all.
sign off. You're good, Jamila?
Yep.
Okay, they're just waiting for these s'mores to melt, right, guys? So I just wanted to give you a few more tips and tricks for this building a solar oven, if you're building it with your class or your camp or your Scouts or Girl Guides group, which are also fun places to build a solar oven. So you can, as I said, put the kids into teams and have them work with a parent volunteer, which is very, very helpful. Try to encourage them to bring in materials from home so you don't have to purchase anything. You should be able to do this all with things that are already lying around the classroom or at home. And please don't forget, we do have an annual solar oven challenge. So it wraps up in late May every year, giving everybody a chance to have the full year to get build a solar oven and get it outside. And to participate in that, all you have to do is send us a filled out form, which you can access on our ReEnergy site, and some photos or videos of you and your students or your camp kids making the solar oven and baking something inside of it. And then we do have prizes that are available. Last year we gave out a $500 prize for the top class. So that's really, really fun opportunity for you with your students. We're going to do another webinar tomorrow at noon. We picked 2 days hoping that we'd get 1 day with good weather. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow. So if you're around or if you liked this and you want to tell your friends to join us tomorrow, that would be awesome. It's also at 12 noon Eastern so we can get the best sun as possible. And we're going to save this so you can share it. I'd encourage you to like our page, share this video with your friends or other teacher colleagues or Scout leader or Girl Guide leader colleagues. And I think that's it for today. I think we're at 12:30, so I just want to thank you for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. And if there's any other questions after, you can still post them in the comments. We will definitely get to those. And so let's turn it around again so Marcus and Jamila can say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, and I'll see you again maybe tomorrow. Take care. Thank you. Bye.